And you might have said something that I'm thinking, aha. So I'm going to stockpile my golden nuggets for another time and know that you've got an interest in that area, which I will in due course bring forward.
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
Sales like a woman, and let's go directly to the point, because Susie, everybody out there, right, they don't like salespeople. They say, oh, this person is coming to sell me something, and these people are salespeople. And then what you described to me before we started the broadcast, that also you have a lot of men coaching and teaching women how to sell in but
Masculine energy.
but let me tell you, who loves sales. Do you know who loves sales out of the 500 millionaires that we interview in this broadcast? Yeah,
Tell me.
I haven't find anyone yet that tell me, Harry, you know what, I don't like sales, I hate sales, and sales is not my thing. I'm still if the audience, you can review all the broadcasts that we have done, 500 multimillionaires, you will never see. So if you want to be wealthy and if you want to make money, you really need to know how to sell. Yeah. So, but then Zuzi, there is why do you think there is such a negative connotation about sales out there? And is it really a different way that women should be selling versus men? Tell us a
Yeah,
bit
very
more.
much so. The thing is, guys, and I have to say this in general, okay? But generally speaking, guys want to fix things. They're more prescriptive. They want a tick list that they can just tick off. They can ask a question, tick, that's the answer. Us girls, we don't do that. We talk around the subject. Now, it might be irritating to some of the guys, but that's what we do. How do we feel about things? What do we think about things? So when I start to talk to people myself, when I start to sell myself, it's more as, if you want to say, I've almost got my arm around them. It's more as a more camaraderie. I'm trying to learn what they're facing by facing it myself, rather than being opposite them and coming up with my energy like this. I've gone beside them to try and work out what's going on that way. And of course, the thing is, if you can make relationships, friendships, and business relationships easily, where people feel at ease, they can just open up and they can start to tell you the things that are really bothering them. Because a lot of people actually don't tell you, firstly, what the problem is. And sometimes you have to go down the layers to actually understand what they're facing and what they're trying to fix, as it were. So you have to not do that to people head on. You have to make the relationship, join with them as a person on their team almost to face the problem, and then try and work out the details together. Lots of questions, lots of open questions, not sort of anything that they can answer yes or no. You want to ask them a nice open question. How would it be for you in the next 6 months? If we could get things working, that you would sell 500,000 units or whatever. They would then answer, wow, well, that would be amazing. They can't answer that question yes or no. That's my point. So that's the sort of thing you've all got to sort of think about doing, making lots of open questions. So they're doing most of the talking, not you doing most of the talking, because anytime a salesperson is doing too much talking, that is really bad. That's where people enter the territory of being perceived as pushy and icky and all the rest of it. You've really got to sort of, hunker in there and sort of get some trust, basically. And you can't do that by being prescriptive and firing questions 10 to the dozen. It just doesn't work.
Creating rapport, something that, and I love what you just shared here, that rather than be opposite, front to front, in front of the client, to be by the side. This is something that I personally use it a lot in my early days. I was have a rent business in London, and I remember when I was doing the viewings, I was even deeper than that, right? Because rapport, create the relationship, is the most important, not the most important thing, but it's the very first step, and you cannot go to the next one if you don't, if you don't do this properly, because at the end of the day, people have to like you and trust you, especially
Exactly.
if it's a high ticket product.
Yeah.
And I remember I was exactly doing like you said. I was always working by the side of the prospect, yeah. And there is something that there is a technique as well, that if you ask a question to the person, right? You ask a good question, like, tell me about your children, about your family, about your mom, whatever. They're gonna look to a certain particular direction, and if you ask the question, tell me what do you dislike the most, they gonna look to another side. So basically, they have a positive side and negative side, and sometimes I was by the side of the negative side. And when I ask the question, I'm so happy myself, being at least in the positive. That's gonna make me my rapport journey psychologically more easy. And I remember, Susie, the other question, because you need to start with exactly like you said, the open question. And I realized when we were meeting this prospect, I was doing landing services, okay? But one question that works for me amazing, and I strongly recommend to all our listeners, is where are you from? Where are you from is the question most positive,
Yeah.
most powerful than I ever find in the planet, in
Into
order
the emotion.
to create rapport. Because people start to say, you look at you, you said I'm from the Chesapeake land. So when you tell to the people where are you from, the people, they get so emotional about where are they from, that you can create a rapport immediately. So Susie, but
Yeah,
however, there's a little bit
I
controversial.
wanted to just drop
Go
something
ahead.
else in there.
Yes.
The other thing is, when you start to open people up, as it were, like we're saying, not everything they talk about will be of use to you today. But you know what? You often find some golden nuggets. And the golden nuggets you put in your back pocket for another day, because what you're hoping to do with this person that you're forming this relationship with is form a long-term relationship.
100%.
So it may be that I have a course which is appropriate to you in 2 years' time, but it's not appropriate today. And you might have said something that I'm thinking, aha. So I'm going to stockpile my golden nuggets for another time, and know that you've got an interest in that area, which I will in due course bring forward.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.